I'm Kristyn the Dietitian, and I am going to continue a short series I'm doing about New Year's resolutions or in general just regarding setting goals. Today I'm going to go over 5 things you can do to help set yourself up for success when you are trying to achieve your goals. So in my last video, I talked about setting health-focused goals, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about setting goals. When you make New Year's resolutions or any other goal, there's some guidelines you can follow to help you be successful. And while I go through these tips, I am going to show you an example of how you can apply these tips. So the first tip to setting goals is to use SMART goals. So SMART is an acronym. It gives you a way to remember some specific things you can do to make your goals doable. So the goal I'll be using for an example is to exercise more. Let's look at a way to use the SMART acronym for this goal. The first letter of SMART is S, and that stands for specific. So to make a goal specific is going to help you realize if you're actually meeting your goals or not. So with my example of exercising more, that's not a specific goal. It's a good goal, but to really outline what that means is going to help you know what exactly you want to do, how you're going to achieve your goal, and to also help you measure if you've been able to meet the goal or not. I will give you an example of a more specific goal with exercising more as we go through this acronym. The first way you can make your goal specific is to meet the second letter of the SMART acronym, which is M, which stands for measurable. So you want your goal to be measurable. With exercising, an example of a measurable goal would be to exercise 3 days out of the week, 30 minutes each day. So this is just one way you could do it. There's of course, a multitude of ways that you can try and make your exercise goal measurable. If you're looking to do more strength training, you can increase to something like 3 days a week, and you can increase also the number of reps or the amount of weight you're lifting. And you can also address which muscle groups, how many muscle groups you're trying to strengthen. This makes it so when you evaluate whether you're meeting your goals or not, you know exactly what to look for. The A in the SMART acronym stands for attainable. Are you trying to meet a goal that you can actually do? Let's say you wanted to make a goal of running a marathon. You have the time to train for a marathon. Marathons require lots of time to train and prep for the big day. You just want to choose something that you can actually do and meet. Which the point of making a goal is to challenge yourself. Yes, it should be difficult by some means, but not impossible. The R in the SMART acronym stands for realistic. This is a little bit similar to attainable, but it's more focused on what level of the goal are you pursuing. So for example, if you're looking to exercise more, but you're currently not exercising, you may not want to set a goal to exercise 7 days a week, 60 minutes every day. That is something you may want to pursue down the road, but to do it immediately may not be very realistic. So that person may want to start with something like exercising 30 minutes, 3 days a week to start. And then after a few weeks or months, add a 4th day. And then down the road, they could increase the length of time that they're exercising. The T in the SMART acronym stands for time frame specific, and this just means that you have a goal for how long you want it to take to reach your overall goal. So let's say you wanted to exercise more by walking 4 days every week, 30 minutes every day. When do you want to achieve that goal? For something like that, it may only take you 1 to 3 months. But if it's a larger, more challenging goal, it may take up to 6 months or even a year. So if you are someone who is planning on training for a marathon, you may need 6 to 12 months to prep for that. So just make sure you allow yourself enough time to reach the goal. and just be realistic about that. The second tip I have for setting goals for yourself is to avoid making all or nothing goals. If you're a perfectionist or you tend to see things more black and white, this may be something that you struggle with. I know I've struggled with this kind of thing in the past, but I feel like I've definitely improved. When you are a perfectionist, you tend to set yourself up for failure or to be disappointed in yourself when you've actually been making progress and really good improvements in your goal. You need to make sure you leave room for imperfection, and also just moderation. So not feeling like you have to go 100% all in or you're just not going to do it at all. Meeting in yourself in the middle to achieve a goal that's going to provide the improvements you're looking for, but not necessarily being so strict and so intense that you just can't stick with it. The third tip I have for you with making goals is to make sure you're choosing goals that are important to you and things that you feel motivated to do. So I think especially around this time of year, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm gonna lose weight. Well, not that weight loss may not be important to you. I'm sure we all desire to improve our health and how we look. But if you're really feeling like you're not going to be motivated to lose weight in a consistent way over a long period of time, then this kind of goal may not benefit you. Make sure you choose a goal that you feel motivated to do. So this will take a little bit of reflection. You will want to choose things that you have good reason to pursue, things that really matter to you. So one good example with our exercise example, let's say that if you were to pursue exercise because you want to look fit, like a serious professional athlete, may not necessarily be realistic, but also just maybe not be a long-term motivation factor for you. But instead, if your motivation is that you want to be more mobile, maybe you want to be able to get on the floor and play with your grandkids while you visit them, or perhaps you're a parent who is experiencing high blood sugar when you go to the doctor. Exercise can have an immediate effect on lowering blood sugar. And so perhaps exercising every day after dinner by going on a walk to lower your blood sugar, maybe that would be a better motivator for you. So when you compare this kind of motivation to, let's say someone wanted to exercise more to fit into their size 4 dress from when they were in college, perhaps that would not be the best motivation to exercising more. Okay, my fourth tip for setting a good goal is to expect challenges and setbacks. If we go into setting goals and making changes thinking that we're going to do it perfectly and we have to do it perfectly all the time, it's not going to feel sustainable to you, and you may be more likely to give up on your goals. We are all human, and that means we're not perfect, and we're going to make mistakes. We're going to have slip-ups. We're going to have days where we're not perfect, and you know what? That's okay. Just acknowledge that on the front end, and when you have those days, just be ready to pick it up again the next day, get back into that routine, into those changes that you've been diligently making, and know that it's okay to have days like that where you're going to feel like you've failed, but just remind yourself this is part of the process, this is normal, I'm going to get back on track. And another thing that you can do to prep yourself, to make yourself ready to achieve those goals, to pursue them, is to also think about what barriers are going to come your way. There's a reason why we haven't been achieving our goals now and why it's been challenging to pursue them. Think about what things are going to come up as barriers, things that are going to make it difficult for you to meet your goals. And once you have those barriers in mind, start to think about how you're going to overcome them when they do present themselves. One classic example that I've seen a lot living in Illinois, I've had a lot of patients who needed to start exercising more, and this was integral to their health. There's this large barrier with the weather. So there's freezing temperatures, there's snow, there's ice on the ground. So for someone who is relying on going outside to exercise, they're going on walks or runs or even bike riding, this can be a lot more challenging in the winter months. And winter here, I feel like lasts more like 6 months. I know it's a 3-month season, but it really does feel a lot more like it lasts half of the year here. And the other challenge that can come along with that is not everyone can afford to go to the gym, and not everyone is comfortable going to the gym to exercise. So while the gym can be one solution to that barrier for some people, it may not be the right solution for others. One way to get around this barrier is for some people to find a free indoor track in their neighborhood or in a close by neighborhood. So there are several cities, suburbs that will have a gym as part of their community center, and they may have an indoor track that is free to anyone who comes by. For other people, they need to invest in a treadmill or a stationary bike they can keep in their home. Now I know this can have its own barriers, because if you are living in a smaller home, an apartment or a condo, you may not have a lot of space for these kinds of things. But another way to get around this barrier is to find a video series of some kind where a personal trainer is providing free classes on how to exercise in your home. And all you might need is an exercise mat, a yoga mat, some free weights, a kettlebell, things like that, and you can exercise in your own home without having to leave or go out into the cold, slippery weather. So as you can see, with exercise there can be lots of barriers. With any kind of goal you set, there's going to be barriers, but it can be helpful to think ahead to overcome anything that may come your way. When you are making your goals or your New Year's resolutions, try and keep these tips in mind. These are going to help you not only be specific about what your goal exactly is, but how you're going to be successful in pursuing them and overcome barriers that will come your way. I hope that this video helped you think through how you can be successful in some of your goals. This doesn't just have to be for New Year's resolutions. It can be applied to any goals you have throughout the year. It doesn't have to just be for health-focused goals. A lot of these tips are great for any kind of goal that you have. Let me know if this video was helpful to you, and I would be curious to hear what New Year's resolutions you have or what goals you're setting for yourself this year.